From the Symbol of Salvation release, that is Tribal Dance, Armored Saint, one of my favorite bands there. Love me some Armored Saint. I know you're a big fan, Chris.
Yes, sir. Love them.
And another guy who's a big fan of Armored Saint who, was very instrumental in their very, very, very early club days and getting them some exposure and some press is our good friend Bob Nalbandian. What's going on, Bob?
Always love me some Armored Saint.
Yeah, we love that band.
I'm doing good.
We love that band, Bob. Since you're so close to the John Bush camp, I know that they were talking about working on a new one.
It's awesome. I've heard the album. In fact, when I had John Bush on my T Radio V show a few months ago, actually, well, at least a couple months ago, I think it was. He let me listen to a preview of the album, and you will be very impressed. It is classic Armored Saint. A lot of people were a little disappointed at their last album.
I wasn't. I thought it was phenomenal.
I thought it was good too. Well, I could see why people would say, it was a little bit of a departure from their usual sound. But I tell people, give it a few listens, man. It takes a little bit of getting used to. But a fantastic album. But this new album's much heavier. It's still, really, really strong songs, very diverse, as usual, as Armored Saint music usually is. So it's not just, straight, full-on metal. But it's a good album. Great songs, great lyrics, great, it's just real strong. You guys will dig it.
Well, do you know when they're thinking of maybe putting that out?
I know they just did the video for Win Hands Down. I believe that's the title of the album, too. And it should be out any time now.
Good.
Metal Blade, I believe, is putting it out. So
excellent.
Bob, we were talking right before you came on. Did you not own a club or work in a club with John Bush or something at one point?
Yeah, we did the Black Lodge. We didn't own the club. We just promoted, Wednesday nights at the old Club Lingerie on Sunset Boulevard. I don't know if you remember the Club Lingerie. They were more kind of in the 80s. They never did the metal. They were more the alternative club. But this was like the late 90s we started it into the early 2000s. It was Toby, myself, and John Bush. And it was fun, man. We had some great times. We had Bruce Dickinson came down and guest DJ'd once. We had Zach Wilde come down and guest DJ. Scotty Ian, of course, came out and guest DJ'd. Brian Slagle came out. We did like a Metal Blade night for the new Man of War album. So it was a lot of fun. All the metalheads came out. And of course, you remember Neely. I think, you weren't still living in LA then in the late 90s, were you?
I left in 91.
Oh, okay, yeah. We, of course, I didn't know you back then anyway, but it was, of course, when the metal scene was dead, there were no clubs at all on the Strip or anywhere doing metal, and we said, fuck it. We let's start it up. So, we actually, we were one of the first clubs. This is when a lot of the newer bands like Static X and System of a Down and Disturbed and Rammstein and all those bands, we were kind of introducing a lot of those bands as well as playing just all the classic metal, from early Purple, Sabbath, Rainbow, UFO, and it was a classic metal night there, and it was cool. We had a lot of fun. Very drunken experience, indeed.
Nice. Well, Bob, since you brought up T Radio V, it's been a month since you've done an episode, and I know that you've been kind of reclusive. Working on the final, the final arrangements for the release of this Inside Metal DVD. Is that over, or are you just on hiatus?
No, I'm actually going to go Tuesday. I'm actually in town in L.A. I'm at my mom's. I'm going to be here for Easter. I'm going to be here throughout the week. So Tuesday I should be doing a live show. I'm confirming who I'm going to have as a guest. And so, for people that don't know, I actually been living up in a very secluded place up in Northern California just so I could just concentrate and get everything wrapped up, all the editing and stuff for the second title. Not second DVD, as you know, Neely and Chris, the first one, Pioneers of LA, Hard Rock and Metal, is being released as 2 separate DVDs, the part 1, and then the part 1 is coming out next week, and then part 2 of that is going to come out in 2 months. It'll be available. Of course, you guys got the screener, which had both parts on it.
Right.
So when I'm saying the movie, it's the whole second movie title, which is going to be the LA Metal Scene Explodes from roughly 1982 to 1986.
Nice. Cool, man.
Yeah.
So Bob, talk a little bit about the actual release of this. We have a million questions, so, fill us in on everything from how people can get it, where they should look to get it. Is it going to be on TV like Netflix or Crackle or Amazon Prime or what? Tell us everything we need to know.
Well, I could tell you just of what I've been told. It is going to be out on DVD next week, April 7th. They're actually taking pre-orders on Amazon, and I believe they have it as a discounted rate on Amazon.com, and also if you're overseas, Amazon UK has it as well. And like I said, the first half of the movie, part 1, is out next week, and the second one will be available in 2 weeks. And what we did, and the reason they did that is obviously a 3-hour movie is kind of long, and once we do, shop it to, the Netflix and the cable TV and all that, 3-hour movie, no way. So, he decided to do it in 2 movies, and a lot of them, on Netflix, if you watch, I don't know if you saw the Eagles documentary.
I did. I thought it was really good. It was a 2-parter.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah, it was 2-part. I don't think Chris got to see it, even though I told him it was out there.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, great movie. But like you said, that's a 2-parter, and so we figured that's the best way to do it. But what we did is we added a bunch of great bonus material to each of the DVDs, deleted scenes. We added all the trailers, the photo gallery, the party that we had at the premiere, a recap of that. So each DVD has separate bonus material. So it's a good package. And like I said, the first part is coming out next week. Second part in 2 weeks. You could get it on Amazon. You could also get it through the Metal Rock Films website, metalrockfilms.com. We've got a bunch of merchandise up there now, T-shirts, baseball caps, and you get a package with a DVD as well, signed DVD, and then it will be available. It should be in pretty much most of the stores that still sell DVDs. We got a really good distribution through MVD on this, who are a really good company. And, Warren from Metal Rock Films, the executive producer, he's does tons of DVDs and has really good distribution network, and we're also getting it on. It should be going, I don't know the dates it's going to be on Netflix. I think it's going to pay-per-view first, like on demand, through all the major cable TV, the Comcast, Time Warners, all that. It'll be available through on demand, I think, shortly after the DVD comes out. Then it should be getting on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, all that fun stuff. And then we're hoping to get it on some of the cable channels as well. That's kind of what we're working on. So
nice. Now, how does that work when you do work with the services, Bob? Do they just give you X amount of money to run it, or do they pay you like you get 10,000 plays, you get this much money, or how does that? And you don't have to break down the money. I've never understood how they pay people to run their content.
Yeah, I fortunately, I don't handle the business. That all goes through Warren, and it's all through, the Metal Rock Films, the DVD company, and I believe MVD is also handling some of, the digital and the cable. So I don't know, again, how the split is, but I do believe that they do give an advance. Some pay more than others. I heard Hulu actually pays the best, supposedly. But, Amazon, Netflix is pretty much the main one for movies, where everyone goes through streaming and through mail order. But yeah, I believe they do pay a certain amount, and then they have it for a certain time. They license it for a certain time period, and it kind of works that way. And I don't know as far as if you get so many downloads or so many streams, if you get paid per after a certain amount, if you get paid more, if that has a scale that goes up. That I don't know actually, but. I know most of them do give some kind of an advance, yeah.
Good. Well, the thing is that, you've been on here for about a year now promoting this, and finally the day has come on Tuesday. And,
yes.
Will there be physical copies in any kind of a brick and mortar outlet?
Yeah, he's, it should be anywhere that still sells, music related DVDs. I know a lot of his titles, he even gets into Walmart. So we might even have certain, especially in the Midwest and stuff, he's got, as I believe I told you, he does a lot of DVDs, like these conspiracy theory kind of DVDs on UFOs and aliens and Bigfoot and all that, and they get pretty strong distribution. So he's got the ties to a lot of these places. So I'm hoping they're going to be in quite a few physical stores, because I'm still old school like that too. And the DVDs, everyone listening, you should pick up the DVDs, because we made a real good package with a lot of great bonus material, some really cool deleted scenes. As just a 3-hour movie isn't enough, we have added more to it. So it's cool. It's a good package. Yeah, it should be available everywhere. If not, Amazon's usually the easy place to order it. They got great service. They got it for a discounted rate, so you could always buy it through there.
What is that retailing for, or do you know?
I think it's $9.99.
Wow, that's cheap.
Yeah. I think that's the discount. I think it's like $12.99, and they have it like discounted at $9.99.
Nice. Well, that's well worth it. Believe me, I've seen. I've watched it 3 times. Both discs, at least 3 times, and it's so well done. I'm very proud to say that I know you and what a quality project this has been. Looking back, now since you originally got involved with this, I know it's been very time consuming, and there's been a lot of arrangements that need to be made, and travel and scheduling and all the stuff that's involved with this, that you were very hands on in all of it. Looking back now, what is your, how do you view this as from the initial time that you were asked to be involved with this, and what you thought it might be, or what you thought you were going to be up against, to coming to the end where this is finally getting released? How has your view of this project changed?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I'm very proud to know you too, Neely, both you and Chris. And as far as the, there's always stuff you look at and you say, oh man, I wish I did this, or I wish we did this, whether it be, from the camera work that I actually didn't run the camera, but different stuff, or, different quotes here and there, or, oh, we should have cut it here, or sequenced it a little bit different. But all in all, I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with the turnout. I think we did what we wanted to do. We wanted to make a real informative DVD. We didn't want to make it like these kind of VH1 behind the music kind of things where it's all dramatized, and they lift everything up, the band's partying and this and that, and then the music comes in, and then tragedy struck, and then they talk about the tragedy, and then they we wanted to let the people do the talking and tell how it was during that era. And of course this first one was 75 to 81, so we just let the artists talk, and we think we really captured a true a vision of what it was really like through the artist's point of view, without any of the drama or the bullshit or any of the hype or that we didn't particularly want to talk about. Even though there was a lot of part about, there was obviously certain tragedies. So many of these people have passed away in these bands, but even just to touch on, if you figure, people go, well, did you touch on like Randy Rhoads, the death and all that? I go, no. If you start with Randy Rhoads and you go, oh, well, if we do Randy, we're going to have to do Kevin DuBrow, and then we're going to have to do Robin Crosby, and we're going to have to do, Cliff, and we're going to have to do Dave Pritchard, and we're going to have to do, so then the whole thing's going to be a depressive, video. So it is more on the upbeat part of the good times of what the scene was about, and which we kind of wanted to capture. And I think the second installment, which I'm so excited about, and I think you guys, as much as you like the first one, I think the second one it's obviously a time we all grew up, and it's all the artists that we all grew up, and there'll be much more recognizable names in the second one, and we literally got twice as many artists interviewed in this second one than in the first one. So cool. It's going to be real special.
But see, Bob, I think you're actually selling yourself a little bit short on the first one, though, because I, as somebody that did not grow up in L.A., I have the exact opposite feeling toward the first one. The thing that I liked best about the one about the two-parter that you sent me was not the names that I knew, but was so many more of these guys that I really had never heard of before. The guy that was like the first guitarist in Quiet Riot, and some of these guys that were in that band Snow that I really didn't know anything about. To me, that was a piece of the scene that growing up here in Ohio, I just didn't get. So that all to me was fascinating. And it really did, for me anyway, in my head, it painted a much better picture on, how some of these bands came to be. Like, I think I said this to you once before, like a band like Autograph. I had no idea that Steve Plunkett did anything before Autograph. And here he was in one of the biggest bands in L.A. So,
right.
I found the guys that were not the name guys, but sort of played in bands before the big guys got big to be more fascinating than Dokken or Piercy or Lars or whoever on the DVDs.
That's great to know. See, you and Neely, you guys are uber rock fans. You grew up in the hard rock metal realm. You know all about that, and that makes me happy to hear that, because I feel the same way. I feel we're educating a lot of people, even the people that, like yourselves, who are, quote unquote, I'll use the talking metal experts, so to speak. Even the metal experts don't know of this era, because unless you grew up in L.A. during that time, you wouldn't even know these bands. Half the people in L.A. that saw this movie didn't even know about this, because they didn't grow up. Unless you're 50 years plus and hung out at the Starwood, you wouldn't remember half these bands. So I'm happy to hear that, but I think a lot of the people, the regular mainstream metal fans that aren't, a lot like you and Neely, as fascinated as what really happened during that time and the education aspect, I think most people look for familiar faces and familiar names and want to know more about that. So, you get a lot of that too, but it's great to hear people like you say, how much they really love the people that weren't so popular. And that's what I wanted to get. Everyone said, oh, dude, you got to get more of the popular people. Of course, Warren wants, he's got that, dude, the name recognition, that's what's going to sell the DVDs. I go, but dude, these guys are just as important. And these were the big names back then. And they're the ones that I thought really told the best story, because they remembered so much. If you're someone in a band like A La Carte or Snow that, didn't do much after that, rather than if you're going to interview someone like Motley Crue that have been playing 200 shows or 250 to 300 shows a year over the past 20 years, you're not going to remember something that happened 35 years ago at the Starwood. Whereas these guys in A La Carte and Smile, their memories were unbelievably clear. And surprisingly, Lars' memory was of that era was fantastic. So you did
that's because he didn't fill his brain up with learning anything to do on the drums.
Okay. That was Chris Aiken that said that, by the way. You hear that, Lars? That was Chris.
I think the point is, Bob, though, is that what your DVD does, and this is probably going to sound a little more blown up than what it is, but if you really look at the history of rock music in general, you have those gaps filled in the older eras. We know everything there was to know about Elvis and the Beatles and, from the birth of radio until, through Elvis's death, as an example. We know all that stuff. We know the Beatles. We know the history of the Rolling Stones and, the various different movements of rock from the 50s through the 70s. But nobody has really done the 80s. If any 80s type of documentaries that I've ever seen anyway go to exactly what it seems like you guys tried to avoid. Everything in the 80s is just like, well, we did 14 lines of blow off a stripper's tits and then we snorted ants in the fucking parking lot. It's all the debauchery of the 80s, but not much of the development of the 80s, which I think lets your DVD fill a really sweet niche that just has not been filled by anybody.
Absolutely. I think the second volume, the LA Metal Scene Explodes, definitely does as well. That's why we cut it off at 86, because we purposely didn't want to repeat what's already been said. I mean, after 86, when Poison and Warrant and Guns N' Roses and LA Guns and Faster Pussycat and all the those kind of bands came in, that's fine and dandy, but it's been talked about so many times. So even in the second one, we've got a lot of bands, like we got, of course, Nader, and a lot of the returning guys are going to be in the second one, like Don Dokken and Carlos Cavazo and Dave Medichetti and Lars, of course, but we got a lot of other newer people, like let me go through some of the, like Betsy Bitch, Leatherwolf, Ron Keel, a lot more Ron Keel in this, a lot more Stephen Piercy, Jamie St. James, Jeff Duncan from Odin and Saint. We got Richard Black again, Jack Russell again, Lizzie Borden, John Bush, and Joey Vera. We got the guys in Racer X, Mandy Lyon, Mike Inez, Jerry Best from Lion, Randy Piper's in this, and a lot more Chris Holmes and Joe Floyd from Warrior. We even touched base with like Herman Rarebell, who talks about Motley Crue experience way back in the day when he was in Scorpions. Wolf Kaufman and Peter Baltus. We used some of footage from interview I did with them. Monty Pittman, Marty Friedman, Leslie from Precious Metal, Ann Boleyn, Gene Hoagland. So there's a lot of it's not just the major bands too, but some of the bands from the early '80s that were packing out the Troubadour and places like that. And you don't hear much more about Racer X or even Leatherwolf and a lot of those bands. But these are bands selling out the country club, selling just as many tickets as Poison was and Warrant were back in the day. And so we concentrate more on the heavier side of the LA scene, which I think again, and we've talked about this. I think the glammier end of the LA scene has been overexposed.
Well, when you interviewed Chris Holmes, being that this is an uncensored type thing, did you leave all the times he muttered "nigger" under his breath in there, or did you edit that out?
No, that was Chris Aiken and Neely. Hey! No, actually, Chris Holmes was good. Chris Holmes is actually really good in this. He says some really good quotes. I will say, and he was on his best behavior on this. Let's just say that.
Well, that's good. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. So, Chris and I were discussing at the beginning of the show that should you need some additional metal expert inside footage or something, we'd be willing to fly out there for a weekend and fill in the blanks there.
Yeah, well, all the interviews unfortunately are done. I would like to get you guys in there because you lived the scene, even though you weren't particularly in LA during that time. When did you get to LA? You said 87, right?
85.
Oh, 85. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you did then. Yeah. You were on the outskirts, dude. You were like in the San Bernardino area.
Yeah, I wasn't right in L.A., man.
You were one of those San Bernardino dudes.
Yeah.
Man, the Inland Empire dudes.
Yeah, I had the...
I used to wear the... Did you have bandanas all wrapped around your legs?
I did.
Did you? Okay.
I did that at one point. Yes, I did.
That was the San Bernardino thing.
Yeah, I'll admit it.
What Go ahead.
I said, I'll admit it. I did that. Yes, I did that.
That's all right. Everyone did back then, especially the San Bernardino people, man.
Sure. I had my cowboy boots on with the chains and all that shit. Yeah.
All right.
I did all that.
Yeah. I always just had the mullet going. But yeah, man. Again, I totally appreciate. I'm gonna see about when we do have the big party for the second one. It's going to be a big one. And I'm gonna see about getting you guys out here, flying you guys out. I'm gonna convince Warren to get you guys tickets out here because I want you to definitely come to that.
Well, that'll rule.
I'll be there.
You're gonna hold me up to that.
Cool. Well,
yeah.
Bob.
Of course, you'll be the first to get the DVDs. Once we get the screeners, you'll get them before anyone else, as usual.
Nice.
Awesome.
Because you're special, man.
Yeah, we're special. Well, another special guy, not only because he's, special in a handy-capable sort of way, but your good friend T.J. James from Australia, he worships the ground you walk on.
Well, he should, that boy.
He before you came on, he called in and had to let us know that you're a legend.
Well, that's good to know in the Tim James world that I'm a legend. I love Tim James, man. I think he makes your show. I love every time he calls in.
Well,
he's a character, that guy.
Well,
especially when he calls in with those little blurbs where you can't understand a fucking word, and then before you can understand anything, he just hangs up. You're like, what the fuck did he just say?
That's what I call a drive-by.
Exactly.
He does a drive-by, but he was letting us know that he was waiting by his mailbox to receive his goodies, and you guys are mailing out your GoFundMe or whatever.
Yes, a lot of people received them. I got a bunch of emails.
Well, I didn't receive my hat.
Oh. Damn it, did you get a DVD? I know that all the DVDs went out, so that you'll be getting your ass hat in the next few days.
All right, that'll work.
Send you a special ass hat.
Look,
yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I supported just to support. I don't care if I get the hat or not. You already sent me the DVD. That's good enough.
Well, you better wear the goddamn hat, dude.
Oh, I will.
I wear your fucking Classic Metal the show T-shirt.
Dude, I always, if I wear anything, I wear hats. I wear hats all the time, especially now that I got this long-ass hair. I need something to keep it out of my face.
All right. Well, there you are. Well, I've got a lot more interviews while I'm sporting the Classic Metal Show T-shirt in this
nice.
Nice. So. I like that.
Me too. Well, Bob, I'm gonna shed the light on the CMS for a minute. You wrote me a nice email this week and said that you were catching up on all the CMS podcasts, and you kind of had a viewpoint or critique on the way the show has been going recently, and you find it extremely entertaining.
Dude, I love it, man. I know a lot of people are saying, "No, I got to get more about metal," but I love the diversity, and it's funny because I was just reading what one of the listeners said, something missed or whatever, wrote a critique on iTunes.
Ditto missed.
Ditto missed. How could I even? And I thought that was great. I thought that was great how you handle it. You're like, we love the critique, and you don't have to like the show or love what we say or agree with our politics, but here he or she said what they love about the show and what they don't love about it. It's not just some guy going, "No, these guys are fucking assholes," and and that's what's cool about you don't have to love everything you say or whatever, but it's fucking entertaining, and I fucking love it. And you are my news source. This is the Classic Metal. I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. I listen to the Classic Metal Show to get my fix of classic metal and news. So look no further. That's all you need. But it's fun. I love, when the debates go with you and Doghouse and, Tim James call, and, of course, Tom the Scott. I mean, Tom the Scott fucking rules, that guy. But I think I was telling Neely, too, I was listening to some of the old shows on, I forgot what it was, on something. And
probably on YouTube or something.
Yeah, like MOL and all those old guys that, Evil Batman, and whatever happened to all those guys? They just fall off the face of the earth? Or
they all, they all go different ways. I'm still in contact with MOL. I talk to MOL here and there. he just he's I don't think, because we're not all focused on music, he doesn't want to listen, and that's okay. You know, I mean, the show dude, if there's anything Neely and I have learned over the years, is that about every 2 years or so we cycle. You know, we tend to turn, the whole chat room turns over and the whole listenership turns over, and that's okay. And then people come in and come out and come back and whatnot, and that's fine. You know, I mean, bottom line, people are listening, people enjoy it, and that's all the more we ever ask for.
Yeah, no, I just always find that interesting because I mean, again, you guys have been doing this. I mean, just between you and Chris, or Neely and Chris, for 10 years, huh, or more?
It's been about 12 years.
12 years, yeah. I mean, that's wow, that's a long ass time.
Yeah,
which is awesome. So I love the direction, and I think your chemistry is better than ever. The way you two, because I was listening to some of the older ones, and you could hear how much you guys have. I mean, you guys always had great chemistry, but now it's just like you just lock in. I mean, you talk about any other duo, whether it's Howard Stern and Robin, or Anthony, Opie and Anthony, or whatever. I think you're superior than any of those guys. The way you have that, I mean, I think it's because you guys are so close. You know each other so well, and you never speak over each other. It's just boom, right? There's no dead space. I mean, I'm envious of you guys. Seriously.
Well, Weezy, make sure you get that for the opening of the show for the rest of eternity.
Do it, Weezy.
Well, we've.
No, I really do. I think I think you guys are at your top format in this stage. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we're waiting for that big payoff. We're waiting for the big bucks, to roll in, because we deserve success.
Yeah. Well, no, I think you should. I mean, if you did, again, I think I've talked to you on this on the side. I think a lot of people, when they hear the classic metal show, it's misleading to a lot of people. They're going to think it's just about classic metal. Then they hear, stuff about politics and Neely's Indian stories and everything else, and they're like, "What does this have to do with classic metal?" But I think if it was probably titled different, or you did your own talk show, you would probably get a lot more listeners that necessarily aren't into metal, that would just listen to hear your views, your social views.
Well, I think it's more about the attitude than anything else. It's kind of the fist in your face or finger in your face, the fuck you attitude, the rebellious attitude of, what metal kind of was supposedly representing at one point,
Which I agree, and I'm so glad about this, because every other metal show, and as you know, the stereotype for metalheads are, idiots, like fucking our good friend, what's her name, Jennifer? I mean, that's basically the stereotype of a metalhead, of a lot of it, So it's, good to hear that, you are opinionated, and you're not just some ass-kissing, and everyone just, you're tired of the same fucking bullshit. Everyone, kissing ass and sucking dick, and, this guy's the best, this is the best thing I've heard, Fuck that, you got to state your opinion, whether it be on music, on social issues, politics, whatever. And if people like it, great. If people don't, then fuck them.
Right.
Don't listen,
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, what else is going on, Bob? Anything else? You did mention that you're going to be back on your TV show on Tuesday. Now, how does that work for the station, when you're not, able to do a consistent show? I mean, you've been pretty consistent up until the first week of last month, but, with this little break here, how do they accommodate you to come in and do a show when, say, you haven't done it in a month? How does that work?
They're really cool. They actually lost their producer, so I was going to go on last Tuesday. But the producer, who was a great guy, and I guess he got a different gig or something. He had headed out, so they're kind of situating that. So, but they do that all the time. But basically, they just ran reruns of the show that I've done, and a lot of their stuff, like like Dave Navarro, he's got a show on there, and he's been out for the past 2 months doing this reality show in New York or something. So they just do reruns there. But I'm hoping when I go in tomorrow, I'm sorry, on Tuesday or this week, I'll be able to do some pre-record shows too, where they could air later, and I've done quite a few of those.
Pre-record.
Pre-record. Then everyone bitches, oh man, pre-record. But so hopefully we'll get that on. But it's hard to get a guest on for Tuesday at 3:00 to come down in person in LA. So that's always kind of a hard. So pre-records are sometimes easier. That way, and that was a great thing about this old producer. I would just call him up and I'd say, hey, when do you have free time? He would give me a day. And then I could set it up, give the artist an option of when they could come down, because as you know, 3:00 on a Tuesday, it's heavy traffic time. It's difficult for people that aren't right in the Hollywood area. So, but yeah, I like it. I love the show. It's a good promotion, really good guy, good people behind it. And, we'll see what it does. They got some big things cooking, supposedly. So, we'll see what happens with it. But like you said, Neely, I mean, it's all first class. They got great equipment, great microphones, the cameras. There's definitely put some money into it. It's not a low budget thing, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, we put a couple of bucks into the show here recently this year. I don't know if
I've heard. I've been listening, yeah.
You like the new sound?
I do.
It's got that nice...
It adds to the professionalism, man.
Yeah. Spending the big bucks.
When Chris is able to operate his fucking mic and you don't get feedback, yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah, well,
hey.
Chris has got new equipment over there in Studio B. He's got a brand new mic, and he's got a vocal processor, and, he's in good shape over there.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very cool.
So
I'm going to have to definitely come out and visit Studio B. I'm going to try. I was telling Neely, and I'll say I'm going to try to make it out to your pinball thing. I would love to come out. In fact, I was talking to Toby about taking a little trip up there and trying to make it out for that. Cause,
Bob, I'll tell you what. If you decide to come out, $2 off admission.
Oh, yeah. There you go. That's probably a better deal than Ron Keel. I bet you he's having to pay the full admission, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm charging him to sing.
There you go. That's pay to play, dude. That's how you do it. It's not like he's not used to it growing up in L.A. and playing all those shows, man.
That's right.
Pay to play.
That's right. Now, if you want to come, by all means, just tell me. You got an open invite whenever, even if it's not the opening weekend. Whenever there's an open invite on that.
Yeah, I'd love to come out and check it out. And hopefully we will do an Inside Midwest metal. You never know.
Boy, that would be a short DVD. What would that be, about 8 minutes?
No, I think if you include all the Chicago area, all the Midwest, Ohio, I think you could scrape enough bands.
Yeah, you could cover Sweet F.A. out of Indiana.
There you go.
Sweet
Trouble
F.A.
out of Chicago.
No one cared.
That's my point.
Shock Paris. All the Bill Peters bands. We'll get Bill Peters involved.
Well, Bill, I'm sure, would be happy to do it. But, I mean, what are you going to cover? Shock Paris, Chimera, Breaker? What? That's 3.
Oh, there was a lot of bands.
U.S. Metal.
U.S. Metal?
Yeah. U.S. Metal, man.
Tim Ripper Owens?
Yeah, I remember Trouble, of course. I remember,
Enough's Enough.
Gotta remember.
Yeah. Bob, this is sounding like a bad DVD idea. Why don't you just keep it in L.A., buddy?
I was just trying to, get you guys involved in, Midwest.
Keep it in L.A. You know what, Bob? As far as I'm concerned, I'll read the credits if that'll get me involved. That's fine.
There you go. We'll keep it in L.A.
That's where it should stay, because it's a great idea, and I would hate to see you dilute it with just some kind of bullshit. Like,
I remember last time we were talking about Ohio metal. If we did, we would do like all of Midwest. We're actually talking about doing a San Francisco one, obviously, which would be great. All the Bay Area thrash bands and all that stuff. And if I do, do that, I've already been talking to the king of San Francisco metal and thrash metal about coming in on me, because I don't want to, come in being an LA guy saying I'm an authority on San Francisco metal. So I want to have a co-director, co-producer come in and do it together. So
who's that?
That might be a fun.
Who's that, Tro?
No.
Well, Bob, I will say this. If you do a San Francisco one, I would very much like to come and be a part of that, because I lived out there during that era.
I remember, yeah.
A little later in that era, but it was from 89 to 92 I lived out there.
Well, we'll definitely get you on if this does come into. Right now, we're going to see how this set of DVDs go. And don't forget the third one, which is also looking amazing, because I've been going over the notes for the second and third. The third installment's going to be The Rise of LA Thrash Metal, and that's going to be an amazing movie. I'm really, I mean, they're all great in different ways, but the thrash one's got a lot of different people in there. It talks about the beginning of LA thrash, and a lot of people don't remember the LA thrash scene, which was a lot more underground, and a lot of it was in East LA and other places, but it was pretty huge. Everyone talks about San Francisco, and of course, the glam scene kind of dominated Hollywood and stuff, but on the outskirts of LA, there was a lot of great thrash bands, a lot of great thrash shows.
Sure. Good stuff, man.
Well, looks like you got years worth of work ahead of you there, Bob.
Yeah, well, we're going to get these all hopefully out by the end of the year. The release date for the second installment, which will also be 2 DVDs, is September. And I think the release date for the DVD for the third one will probably end up being February of 2016. But we'll probably be doing hopefully do another theater screening for that, and that might be later on in the year. And the next theater screenings, if we do those, they'll be a lot more organized, a lot better than. I was happy that we got it in the theaters, but I think it just the way it was just a little bit premature in the way the promotion and everything worked out. But and the theaters that did actually promote it, it did pretty well. So it was good to at least say, hey, we got it in the theaters, But I think if we do it again, it'll be a lot better organized.
Very cool.
All right, Bob. Well, Tuesday's the big day.
That's right. Order it, Amazon, or go to metalrocksfilms.com. We got a great package with merchandise, with a signed poster, DVD, hat, and T-shirt, and it all looks great too. All really good material and very professionally done. So check it out, metalrocksfilms.com. And again, you could order it at Amazon and probably a lot of other places. And it should be available on at all the stores and stuff. And if it's not at your store, tell the people to order it.
Nice.
That's right.
All right, Bob. Well, anything else you want to impart on the fans?
Nah, fuck you, pal. That's about it. Hand job.
Right.
Again, I'm loving the show. I'm looking forward to hearing. You're my breakfast entertainment. I get up in the morning, I put on the podcast, I make breakfast, and sometimes I'm listening to you all the way through the afternoon, man.
And you just spit orange juice out your nose.
Yeah, I've done that, man. What's funny? Oh God, there was a thing. I spit coffee all over my fucking laptop. When you were talking about Jennifer, it is Jennifer, right?
Yeah, Jennifer.
Rock and metal, or the
80s
What's
hair,
show called?
80s hair band whirl.
Right. When you were talking about, she lives in her trailer. When you were describing her trailer, it probably smells like cat piss and fried chicken and something. And then you said, and probably a dog licking peanut butter, and then what would you say? Something like
peanut butter and
dog
jizz.
Probably turns away, or something you said, which was fucking hilarious. I spit my coffee all over my laptop.
That's awesome.
All right.
You said she rubbed peanut butter all over her crotch, and you said even a dog fucking walks away from that. Oh fuck, dude, too much. Good shit. I love it.
Good. All right, Bob. Well, congratulations on the final release of this thing in a commercial outlet, and hopefully all of our fans will go out there to some outlet and go get it, because it really is worthy and needs to be in your collection. So go pick it up. Inside Metal, the first part, due out on Tuesday via any of your digital resources and outlets.
Absolutely, and part 2 will be out June 9th as a release date for the DVD. So that'll be the second part, and again, I'll have all other bonus material. I just want to thank all the CMS listeners. You guys have been so supportive, and all you guys that did the Stand Back campaign. I apologize again for the delay with that. And, yeah, just want to thank everyone, man. Everyone's been really supportive on this, especially you two guys. So thanks again, man.
No need to
and
thank
hail and kill and fuck you, pal.
Right. Well, Bob, what could I play for you to take us out of this segment?
Oh, let's see. Let's go old school. Should we do some old school metal?
Okay.
Why not? Let's do Deep Purple Flight of the Rat. Do you have that one?
Well, let me take a look
In
here.
rock album?
Let me take a look here, see if I have that.
Hello, Spotify.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
If you don't have that, any other classic Deep Purple. How about Child in Time? You got that one?
Oh, that one I have. Yeah, that's a classic, man.
Absolutely. Let's go with Child in Time.
All right, we can do that. All right, Bob, get back to your editing.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. I'll be listening throughout the rest of the night. I'm trying to get into... What's up with chatandkill.com? That's not working now?
Chris has got to fix something there. You just go to the classicmetalshow.com and then click on the chat link at the top of the page, and you'll get in there.
Awesome. I'll jump in there in a bit.
Yeah, for some reason, the link stopped working on us, and Chris has got to fix it.
Yeah.
Shit, you guys are unfucking professional.
We are.
I'm going to have to start listening to 80s hair metal world from now on.
Nice.
No, the Moose Radio is what you need to listen to.
The
guy's
Moose.
got it.
Yes, he's pro. Well, see, he went to school, so he went to broadcasting school, so that's why he's such a pro at it.
And he's a professor, too.
That's right. That is correct. The Moose.
The Moose. All right, Bob, I'm going to play your Child in Time, man.
Awesome. All right, gentlemen. Hail and kill, fuck you, pal, and hand job.
All right, we'll talk to you, Bob.
All right, man.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.
All right, later.